Boah, g'day guys, it's Sam here from Built Not Bought. Now these days it's becoming more and more popular for guys with 4-wheel drives to be converting from the diesel over to the petrol V8. Now it's an age-old argument online of what's better, diesel versus petrol. There's just internet warriors all over this. But if you do want to do an LS conversion, these are the parts you need. So I'm going to run you through all the bits and pieces I've got for the conversion. There's a lot of companies these days giving you the ability to buy a kit online to convert everything to bolt it in. So Marks Adaptors are one of the leading manufacturers for this gear. I think they were one of the first to start bringing out this kind of stuff. Without further ado, let's just get started, get into this thing. I did unwrap this, actually, interesting story. I did record this whole video probably a week or two ago, and someone forgot to turn the microphone on, so here we are for take 2. So everything's been unwrapped already, but still, we'll pull it out and have a look. Okay, so to begin here, I've just got a lot of hoses and adapters, right? Radiator, these actually, I got off eBay, I've just thrown them in the same box, but a CH1979 for the top and a CH2474 for the bottom. They're just an eBay job. They're from McKay's Automotive or something. So that'll sort the radiator out. Now, by the way, obviously you know I've got a 2008 GE Patrol coil cab, but these conversion parts will relate to pretty much any GE Patrol if you're doing this conversion. So aircon, I've got to have the aircon. So these are all hoses and adapters to run basically the LS compressor hooking up to the Patrol aircon system. So we've also got the fan belt for the compressor, and that'll get all that sorted. Next in the box, this is a Serpentine belt because you are going to have to relocate the alternator, which changes the length of the belt. This, I'm not going to be able to use this because the supercharger's got its own belt as well, obviously. Now here we start looking at the brackets for the engine mounts. These are all, look like they're zinc coated. Now, because this is one thing that'll change depending on what Patrol you have. The ZD30 that I had in this means I can bolt up the engine mounts straight to the chassis, just through these rubbers they supply. But my old Patrol that I did, it was a 2.8, and I think it's 4.2s as well. You'll actually need to cut the chassis rails so you can weld in new mounts. So the ZD30 is one of the better types if you want to convert to the LS because it'll marry up just by bolting them in. This here is a pedal adapter. I don't know where the pedal is. I think it's inside. So I'm using the Holden VE pedal, and this was an adapter plate to pretty much bolt that straight up onto the floor there. Power steering reservoir mount. This is the pulley for the air conditioner compressor that goes on the bottom on the engine. These brackets here are for your, I think it's for the alternator relocation. This whole kit has an instruction set as well. I think it's in the bottom of the box there, and it will tell you where these all need to mount onto. So really super easy installation. That's that. Here we've got, looks like the clutch cylinder there. Change that out for the hydraulic clutch. Oh, input shaft. Oh, you can see behind me, I'm sorting out the gearbox, and I assume, no, other end. Yeah. So that extends the input shaft because it's slightly longer, it's greasy because it's slightly longer with the gearbox bell housing adapter. So that gives you the length there. Almost at the bottom of the box here. Now the main thing is the bell housing adapter. Now this is really, I think, very well put together, this piece of kit here. All machined nicely. Basically bolts straight up onto the gearbox. This is for a manual. If you are going auto, you will need a transfer case adapter. So the manual has the bell housing adapter. So all the lines in that, I like the way they've done this, Marks Adapters. That'll look very nice, filled with mud. Of course, you'll need bolts and pins and plates and screws, and all of that is supplied. Even it's like a braided line fitting for the clutch as well. The one last piece of kit I got from Marks Adaptors, let's get rid of this. So the one last bit of gear I got from Marks Adaptors was this. A new clutch. So Marks do supply the flywheel and a clutch assembly for the conversion. but I did have a chat to them, and with the power I'm going to be running, I did need to upgrade. I think their standard clutch for these conversion kits are about 600 Newton meters, and that's obviously engine power, so not at the wheels. So I'm going to be well above that, I think, at the motor. So I got this twin plate ceramic clutch. It's a center force clutch, so it's from America, but they've built it to, I think the spline matches the LS, and then the bolt pattern matches the petrol gearbox or something like that. I don't know. They're quite expensive because they come direct from the US, but I think they're rated to about 1,300 Newton meters. So it will definitely just eliminate that weak link in the system, so I can just spend all day blowing diffs instead. All right, let's open her up and have a look. I think I've had this open before. It's quite nice in here. Oh, they even give test sheets holding torque capacity. So the pressure line graph versus the, oh, here we go, average torque, 1,300 foot-pounds of torque. Oh, so it's foot-pounds. So what's that in Newton meters? Important document enclosed, brochures, decals. So I think there's warranty, certificate of compliance and all that in here. A bit of a breakdown of how it's built, how to put it together. There's some shim installation instructions. Yeah, so we'll keep hold of all that stuff. Oh, this thing looks sexy. So we've got an aligning tool here. This simulates the input shaft, I'd say. So it should be the same spline as this, which it is. So that'll align the clutch as it goes together. Here we've got, oh Jesus, oh, I just dropped it. So these are the bolts that go onto the flywheel. A couple of bearings, so got to work out what they're for. We'll get it out. Oh, it looks, oh. So it looks pre-assembled. Oh my God. That looks so good. Oh, that looks so good. It's a pity these are hidden in the transfer case. Like, that looks amazing. I wonder if there's any way I can like make this save. Nah, I'll get mud and stuff everywhere. So I've gone, it's very heavy because I've gone for the steel flywheel now. Because I want to have like a lot of torque. You want to keep the weight in that rotating assembly so it can hold that torque. If you went like a real light alley flywheel, you'd have a lot of RPM power and horsepower, but I want that low end torque, so it'll just, you know, keep that inertia. So spinning it around, man, there's a lot going on in there. I'm not a huge expert on clutches, but I can see there's a couple of twin plates in there, pressure plate. It's all, so I don't know whether any of this has to come apart. I have to read the instructions, but well, actually it probably will. Damn it. Yep, I'm gonna have to pull all these off. Oh yep, they're only finger tight. No, we'll save that for a future episode, but I'll need to pull that off so the flywheel can bolt onto the crank. I'll be sending the flywheel and this whole assembly off to the machine engineering services there, who are doing the rebuild on my motor, because they're going to balance the whole crank and rotating assembly, and they'll need this as well. So that pretty much wraps it up for this unboxing. Any questions, drop them below. If you want to ask a direct question to myself about any of this gear, you can hit me up on my Patreon page. That's where I have my most interaction with you guys. And I will see you in the next video. Peace! Oh hey, click the button to subscribe to my channel and you'll finally be happy.